He said that he was having dinner with friends. It was his friend's birthday. No. He was having dinner with his donors. So even in the context where he's pretending to take accountability, he's lying straight to everyone's face. And I can't stand it. I really can't.
You would have told me 5 years ago that Ana Kasparian and Tucker Carlson were going to have a conversation. It was going to be civil. There's going to be no screaming, and there was going to be a lot of agreement. I literally would have said, you're lying to me, because there's no way on God's green earth that would ever happen. But they're actually discussing some very important topics, calling out both sides, both political parties, calling out a lot of the noise that they're thrown in our faces as the American citizens to try and distract us from what the real goal is. And it's a really entertaining and engaging and thought-provoking conversation. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to RTM News, because it ensures YouTube that you're enjoying our videos, and in turn, they'll continually show up in your feed and they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
I think that, again, on a lot of the important issues, there's a lot of agreement among voters. They just have to allow themselves to think for themselves.
I would say the most important issues. I mean, if you've got 7 people dying in one intersection in Los Angeles, you're not going to tell me that Iran is a greater threat to my country than that.
Exactly.
I can't think of a greater threat to my country than that, actually. And I don't have any idea why that's partisan. I'm interested in the governor. I know the governor of the state. Mm-hmm. He's got some, I know Gavin Newsom. He's got some talent, I think, and charming for sure. But what is going on? Is he aware of that? I've asked him, and
you really find him charming?
Well, in a kind of reptilian way. I mean, charming in the sense that his whole life is devoted to winning people over.
Yeah.
That man is a snake oil salesman. I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. Does he come off as if he's convincing? Yes. He could have this nice cheesy grin, smile. He's like, you can just sit there and talk to him. He had an interview with Charlie Kirk, and was telling Charlie Kirk how much his son, Gavin Newsom's son, loved Charlie Kirk, which is crazy when you think about it. If you're raised in a household with Gavin Newsom and you are a fan of Charlie Kirk, either Gavin Newsom is not watching his kid, Gavin Newsom does not believe what he says, or I don't even know what other reason there could be, because that doesn't even make sense. He's just an intense rebellion. I don't know, but Gavin Newsom is not real. I mean, he's real, but he's just he's just a political figure who wants to go up the corporate ladder. He wants to go up this political ladder of just becoming the president someday. It's very clear that's his goal. That's why it'd be too controversial to have ran in 2024, tried to put his name in the hat, or drop his name in the hat, because he's like, no, I got to say hello to the party, Biden, this, Kamala, we all know what you want, bro. I don't trust him at all. And Ana Kasparian sees right through it too.
Kind of like Bill Clinton was, and I think he's good at it. But I also think, someone said to me the other day, Newsom could pass a lie detector test on saying anything. Like, there's a coldness inside that allows.
He's a sociopath. I think he's a snake oil salesman. I think he's a liar, and I think that he destroyed the state of California. Full stop. I've got no love for Gavin Newsom. I think that people tend to fall for appearances, and for whatever reason, people think that he's attractive or something. I don't find him attractive because I know who he is and what he's done. He has shafted Californians who have lost everything in wildfires. The fire in Paradise, California was absolutely devastating. An entire community burnt down as the result of PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric, that's the utility company, refusing to upgrade their aging equipment. Their equipment is over 100 years old. And so what started that fire was this metal hook that had eroded to the point where it broke. Power lines come crashing down onto dry brush. It sparks a fire and destroys an entire community. Okay. So you would want PG&E to suffer some consequences for that, right?
I think.
Well, Newsom bailed him out because it's one of his biggest donors. He recently, in an interview, I can't remember, he's been doing these podcast interviews to kind of rebrand himself as some sort of common sense guy.
I've turned it down.
Yeah, don't fall for it because it's total BS. But, he said something along the lines of, I take personal accountability. I made a big mistake by getting caught. I was at the French Laundry. It's like some ritzy, fancy restaurant during COVID after I told Californians, don't get together with family members during the holidays. It's very dangerous, whatever.
Let's not forget that Whitmer did that as well in Michigan. That's where I'm from. So I'm really tight about that. And then she went all the way to Florida, I believe. And I think AOC did a similar thing. She lives in New York. It's like, we're going to go to these conservative areas and have be on the beach, lay out in the sun, enjoy our freedom that Ron DeSantis gave us, while we did not give that to our constituents. As a matter of fact, we locked and boarded them up. Luckily, I was in Texas at the time, but my family living in Michigan, they had to deal with that. Absolutely not. And then when I found out about Gavin Newsom doing that, like, you're a hypocrite, bro. Like, words for thee, not for me. Like, that's crazy.
He said that he was having dinner with friends. It was his friend's birthday. No. He was having dinner with his donors. So even in the context where he's pretending to take accountability, he's lying straight to everyone's face. And I can't stand it. I really can't. I want real authenticity. I want real accountability. I want politicians who are willing to see that the policies they advocated for aren't working quite as they intended, and they're willing to recalibrate, admit that maybe they got something wrong.
Of course.
I want humility. I want this country to improve for the people in this country. And unless we are willing to be honest, unless we're willing to tell the people trying to smear us, to silence us, that they can F off, nothing's going to improve. Everything's going to keep going down. Everything is going to continue devolving. In my lifetime, this country has only gotten worse, not better. And it's going to keep going in that direction. And I want that paradigm to shift. I want it to change.
Why do people disagree with that, do you think?
I don't know. I think there's something psychological about it. I think that we've been conditioned to think of politics as black and white, good and bad, but I think it's more complicated than that. I think most Americans are good people who want good things for everyone, but I think the media kind of conditions us to hate the other side.
You think? This is something that's been stated for a long time by many people online, that each side is trying to vilify the other. I mean, we see that all these things, and it's just an attempt to distract us from whatever they're actually trying to do, which no one will ever actually know. But like, it's yes, two sides of the same coin is what the two-party system is, and these people and the mainstream media promoting one side, like Fox News is doing this. I'm not even in it like that. Fox News is like this, and CNN is posting this, and it's just like they're just completely combative all the time and trying to make and get a rise out of the people that are on their side. And it's just like acting like the world is gonna end. It's literally the boy who cried wolf for both sides, and it's just so ridiculous. And like she's saying here, most Americans, it's true. Most Americans just want good for everyone, good for the family. They don't want to bother anybody. They don't want anyone to get hurt or be in pain or suffer. They just want to live their life, and they have obviously their morals and their beliefs on certain things. But the way that we vilify each other over them is what blows my mind, and it is orchestrated by media and people being dumb and falling for it.
Whatever the other side really is, I certainly had those feelings, and things are different today compared to when I became politicized during the Bush era.
Yes.
I feel like during the Bush era, it was a little easier to see good and bad, right? So for instance, even among Republican voters, I think people had woken up to the fact that the neoconservatives had dragged us into wars that we shouldn't have been fighting. That a lot of people, Americans and civilians in these countries we were invading, were suffering as a result of this ideology. But things have gotten a little more fractured. I think within the parties, there's like multiple parties. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
But when it comes to the two establishments, the Democratic establishment, the Republican establishment, there's a lot of similarities between the two.
They're in alignment.
Exactly. On the big issues that matter.
War and the economy.
War and the economy.
Biggest issues.
100%. They love to like distract us with shiny things.
Yeah, have a race war. It's totally
100%.
Fine. Yeah.
All these like social issues. By the way, social issues are important. I'm not minimizing them. But the way that they're framed by the establishment, I think is interesting.
Well, they're weaponized.
Because it's intentionally meant to get us to fight each other constantly.
Of course.
Instead of considering what the big issues are and how we might actually agree on those big issues, what we can do to work together to, again, apply pressure to politicians to demand that they represent us instead of their donors, instead of moneyed interests, instead of a foreign government. So I think people are waking up for the first time. I'm a little bit excited because, the kind of speech that you gave wouldn't have happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's absolutely. People are waking up. People are kind of sick of this identity politics, the race wars, the social issue aspect where you're weaponizing all these individual people's beliefs and what they want to be. And it's like, that's not even like the point. That's not what people are angry about. Just stop trying to force me to do something. And you can do what you want and you can speak against whatever you oppose, but like the vilification aspect, the cancel culture aspect, the you're a worse person than I am aspect, when none of us are good, none are good but God. So it's just like, it's ridiculous, and it's tired, and I'm glad that people are waking up to it. A lot of people are done with it. And we're not healed, we're not perfect, but I do think we're going in the right direction, and I hope that continues even past this administration. People trying to act like it's God's gift to humanity. I think America is hopefully will thrive past this and going forward, regardless of who's in office, and maybe people will come a little more to a reasonable point. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment your thoughts down below. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.